What up, 567? I'm so excited to be with y'all tonight and to be talking about feet washing because proper hygiene is important. No, but seriously, we are going to be in John 13 and we are going to be talking about feet washing. Jesus comes up to he's hanging out with his disciples and he decides that he is going to wash the feet of his disciples and be a true servant. And we see things throughout his whole life that we can, apply to our lives, that we can try to be like him. And tonight we're going to keep diving into that. And so just let's do it. So I really want you to think about literally the worst of the worst times that your feet have been so dirty, so smelly, so nasty. I think about when I was in like junior high or high school and my friends and I would take our four-wheelers. Well, I didn't have a four-wheeler, but take four-wheelers out, whenever it would rain, and we would go out and we would ride around. Sometimes it would be cold. Sometimes it would be in the summer. But we would just get out and we would go around in the mud and we would just get so dirty, so muddy that we wouldn't go inside. We would literally get washed off outside with the water hose because we were so disgusting. John 13 starts out and it tells us that Jesus knows what is about to happen, that he knows what's coming, and what's coming is the crucifixion, right? This terrible, awful, atrocious death, right? That we know to this day. And in verse 2, it tells us that Satan has been working on Judas to make sure that Judas will betray Jesus. So first two verses, we already know kind of what's happening. Verse 4, though, is where we see these events start to unfold, where Jesus gets up from the table where him and the 12 were eating, and he ties a towel around his waist like a servant, and he begins to wash their feet. What an insanely beautiful picture this is, to see a man, Jesus, who is about to die a terrible, gruesome death, and he knows that it's coming, yet he is eating, and he rises and he decides that he is going to serve rather than be served, even in this time that has to be on his mind, right? He knows what's happening. What makes this even more crazy is that Jesus knows that Judas is going to betray him. Jesus knows that Peter is going to deny him. Yet, even through all of their unworthiness of this, of what he does, he still washes every single one of their feet. That is what's crazy right here. So we see Peter say, whoa. Jesus, are you really gonna wash my feet? Are you really gonna wash our feet? And Jesus says, yes. And you're not gonna understand it. You're not gonna really understand why until after the resurrection, after the crucifixion. See, Peter's good at saying things before he thinks about them, like I have been quite often, and possibly some of you are, but Peter says, you're not going to wash my feet, right? Like Jesus is like kneeling down. He's like, hey, y'all, I got you. I want to wash your feet. Peter, you're not going to wash my feet. Jesus says, Peter, listen, if you're not going to let me do this, you're not going to be able to have a relationship with me. Jesus was the master. He was the teacher. He was all powerful, and yet he was the servant in this moment. And he says, guys, do you see what I'm teaching you right here? Listen, no one is undeserving of your servanthood. You are to serve just like I did tonight. Just like I did. Like Jesus, we should be ready to serve others. We are called to be the hands and the feet of Jesus. And I don't know of a better way to do that than to serve other people. I want you to think, is it sometimes hard for you to be humble? Really, think about it. Is it sometimes hard to be humble? To be selfless? Jesus, he could have just got somebody else to come and wash the feet of the disciples. He could have just washed the feet of the disciples that he thought were deserving. There were many different ways that this could have played out. But we see Jesus be completely humble, completely selfless. In a time where he was having to think about what was coming next, which was something I can't even fathom, something that's unimaginable to me. Yet he was humble. A lot of people have needs. Some of them are easy to fulfill. Some of them are more difficult to fulfill, right? What does it mean to humbly serve at your home? What does it mean to humbly serve at your school? What does it mean to humbly serve at your church? What does it mean to humbly serve in your city? That's what we're going to be talking about next.